I am going to make split pea soup. I'm going to use this whole bag, and I'm going to use the recipe on the bag. It's a pretty basic recipe, and it's pretty much the same as the recipe in this ball canning book. I will link the ball canning book down below. I'm making this whole bag, and so with it's just me and my husband, I know there's going to be leftover soup, and we are going to pressure can it to make the extra shelf stable. And so this recipe is this whole bag: 1 cup onion, 1 cup carrot, 3 tablespoons butter, and then 1 pound of ham or bacon. And that's optional. If you don't want to use any meat at all, you can. We usually use a ham bone. My husband has a separate recipe that I'm going to do a different video on because it has a couple different ingredients. It was the recipe his mom always used, and you used a ham bone left over from, like, you know, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, Easter dinner. And since we don't have that at the moment, I'm just doing the basic recipe on this bag that anyone can do, and it's pretty easy. So, and I, made it easy just by buying these pre-cooked pork chops to cut up and use as flavor. If you have a ham steak, that works just as well. But this is what I am going to do. So I'm going to get started cutting up the carrots. And so yeah, you just follow the recipe. Basically, you're going to boil down the peas with water and all the ingredients. And I'll see if I can link this brand down below. But really, if you want to make split pea soup, there's always a recipe on the back of these bags. I have all the ingredients in the stock pot except for this ham flavor. This came with the bag of split peas, and the instructions is bring this to a boil bring it to a boil and then cook for 30 minutes with the lid on it. And then you add this ham flavoring besides the ham we already have in it. That's what the recipe calls for. That's what I'm going to do. For the recipe, the next video I'll do on it when I actually have a ham bone. I believe the recipe calls for ham stock, which you can buy like ham stock the same way that you buy beef stock and chicken stock if you don't make your own, which I think I made some last year. I'll have to check my canning shelves. So anyway, I'm going to bring this to a boil and cook it for 30 minutes. And it'll still be cooked longer than that. After that, it's another 30 minutes. Usually it takes around 2 hours to make a split pea soup. Rookie mistake. I just noticed I didn't peel the butter all the way. Make sure you peel your butter all the way before you put it in your soup. It's been cooking 30 minutes at a boil. As you can see, the water is now green. The peas are starting to break down. So the next step is to add the seasoning packet, the ham flavor seasoning packet, and then put it on simmer and cook for 20 minutes with the lid on. All right, it's been cooking per the instructions, and it's broken down. The peas have pretty much broken down, but the meat hasn't, of course. And so I am going to immersion blend it. You don't have to, but I like my split pea soup to be a smooth soup. So I highly recommend this KitchenAid hand blender. I think they call them immersion blenders. It is definitely one of the best purchases I've ever made, and I use it quite a bit when making stuff to can. And look at that. It's pretty smooth now. No more chunks of meat, and this is like, I think this looks really good. This is why some people don't like split pea soup, because it ends up looking like baby food, but it is absolutely delicious. So if you don't mind the look of it, the taste is pretty darn good. The soup is ready to eat. It tastes delicious, and I like to put croutons on top of my soup. Is it just me? Does anyone else like to put croutons on their soup? This is the leftover split pea soup, and it is so good. So this is definitely a good recipe on this bag. And like I said, it's very similar to the recipe in this book, if not exact. And my original intention was to pressure can the leftovers. This probably would have made like 3 jars, maybe 4. But it's Thanksgiving week, and we don't want to cook until Thursday, and so we decided to just eat this for lunch the next couple of days, and it is so good. I keep going on about that because I'm very happy because this was pretty simple. It was 2 carrots, an onion, the ham steaks, and the bag of peas. So cost-wise, it was probably like, what, $10? With the most expensive thing being the ham, which if you want to leave that out, this is like a very inexpensive soup. Like if you are a vegetarian or you just don't like a lot of meat, you could make this for less than $3. And this is like 3 or 4 meals for 2 of us.